Hey folks, this is Super Motherload, released in November 2013 for the PC, PS3, and PS4. Super Motherload is a digging game. You play as a small rover on Mars and your objective is to keep digging deeper and deeper, collecting various minerals for cash. A mineral by itself isn't worth much, but you can collect the same mineral multiple times for a chain bonus, or combine them with other minerals to create more expensive ones. For example, combining bronze and silver creates sterling silver, and you can even combine that with gold to get white gold. Iron by itself is practically worthless, but combining it with platinum creates a rare earth magnet, which is worth quite a bit in the beginning of the game. The money that you earn is spent on refueling, repairing your rover, buying bombs, as well as purchasing various upgrades, like increasing your fuel capacity, your storage capacity, and some unique abilities like converting iron into fuel and being able to detonate bombs mid-air. The map is randomly generated each time you play it, and there are various zones. These zones are separated by outposts, where you can repair, refuel, sell your cargo, and stock up on supplies without having to return to the surface. Super Motherload reminds me of a Dreamcast game I used to play a lot, Mr. Driller, as well as the digging aspect of some modern games like Terraria and Starbound. The difference here is, this game isn't any good. For starters, there is no sense of urgency or danger. There are no traps, tunnels do not collapse, and running out of fuel doesn't really do anything. It makes you move slower and prevents you from digging, forcing you to fly all the way back up to the closest base at a snail's pace in order to refuel. It's pretty much impossible to die unless you keep ramming yourself into walls or mine magma rocks that burn your rover. The game does have a hardcore mode which makes your rover explode if you run out of fuel, but I really do not recommend playing on that difficulty because the game is just a non-stop boring grind. Super Motherload is simply boring. It's tedious and repetitive. You'll come across all the minerals the game has to offer about an hour in. Each zone also has a quest of digging for some items. The problem is these quests trigger once you're about 75% done with the zone. You've already come across these items before, but for some arbitrary reason, you couldn't mine them. Once the quest starts, however, all of a sudden they become mineable. This means you're forced to fly all the way back up looking for these stupid items again. The progression is completely unbalanced. Upgrades quickly go from costing $20,000 to $500,000 to several million. The same for the unique abilities that you buy in the shops. Want the ability to mine rocks instead of spending thousands of dollars buying bombs in order to destroy them? That's only $2 million. How about the ability to detonate bombs mid-air? $5 million. This is insane. Some minerals can only be obtained by using that ability, and it isn't even that easy to farm up that kind of money. Since the further you go down, you quickly realize you're gaining barely any profit as you're spending almost as much money on bombs in order to get the minerals. The most ridiculous upgrade is digging through metal. It costs $25 million. Seriously, this is in a zone where there is metal everywhere. It takes two different kinds of bombs to destroy it. To put things into perspective, the most expensive mineral requires a combination of 3 different ones, 2 of which are extremely rare, and the end result is a mineral that is only worth around $200,000. The most common quote-unquote expensive minerals are combining ruby or emerald with Amazon, and that combination only nets you 30 grand. So you can imagine how much time you have to spend farming. For fuck's sake, a single electron bomb, which turns metal rocks into magma rocks, that alone costs $30,000. Another decision which I think wasn't a very good one to make is that each outpost has its own unique abilities for sale. So if you forgot to buy one from the previous zone, have fun flying all the way back up just to fly all the way back down again. I was pretty fucking pissed when I realized this. I wanted to buy the ability that gives you money when you mine magma rocks, so I had a lot of fun flying up 2 zones and then flying back down 2. Super Motherload is also unstable, which is shocking. If you activate 2 bombs one after another real quick, the game crashes. That's another half hour of progress gone. The game has a story, but it's completely forgettable. On the bright side, the voice acting in the presentation is pretty good. The soundtrack is also nice, however, it randomly cuts out every now and then, and you're just left sitting there in near silence, hearing nothing but the sound of your rover. Super Motherload has co-op up to 4 players, but it's local only, which is a huge con. I think the game might have been tolerable if it had online multiplayer. After all, 4 players digging is faster than 1, even if the fuel is shared. As it stands, Super Motherload is a very tedious, boring game. I found myself trying to rush through the zones as quickly as possible because I just couldn't take it anymore. You're pretty much forced to spend a lot of time farming the zones in order to have enough money to purchase the ridiculously expensive upgrades and unique abilities, unless you really like backtracking. I guess this was their way of artificially extending the length of the game. I mean, it's only 5 to 6 hours long. If the upgrades and abilities scaled more fairly, then I'd imagine the game would be beatable in only 2 to 3. I picked this up in an indie game bundle from Bundle Stars. I can't recommend it at any price point. Even if it was free, it wouldn't be worth playing. It's just too fucking boring. Maybe if you had 3 friends over and you're all pissed drunk, then maybe, just maybe, the game wouldn't be as boring.